table, and he did speak to the fans after the game, and he said, after this disaster season, I want to tell you the good days are coming. If there is one club that has proven in the past they can overcome any situation, any disaster, it is our club. It is Manchester United. Well, are you inspired by those words?
Oh, I'm not sure about inspired, but they can't be any worse next year, can they? You know, they can't be any worse. They'll have to improve. There's obviously a few players' contracts up who will leave. We go back to recruitment. They certainly need to get players in who know, I think, the Premier League. I think the majority of signings over the last 2 or 3 years are players who've never played in the Premier League, and they've struggled to adapt it, particularly when they brought so many players in. So I think they have to go back to basics and get some really good, proper, experienced players who know the Premier League and who are men and who are robust, who can turn up week in, week out and do a good job for Man United. I don't necessarily mean challenge for obviously league titles, but get Man United back up the table and competing.
What do you mean
competing every week?
Sorry, Roy, what do you mean by men? Because Chelsea have qualified for the Champions League with one of the youngest teams we've ever seen in the Premier League, average age of 24.
Yeah. What's your point?
So when you're saying man, are you talking about age and experience? What do you mean by that?
People who know the Premier League. I think when you bring so many players in from obviously from abroad who've not played the Premier League, I think it's a challenge. And I give Chelsea credit. They've rolled their sleeves up, and they were heavily criticised at the start of the season. But they've got players still in their group who've played in the Premier League. They might be still young and inexperienced in terms of being around for 10 years, but they know the Premier League. Man United, I think, have brought too many players in who don't know the league and who don't know how to turn up week in, week out. The one thing you want as a footballer or as a team you're playing with, you want people to kind of compliment you by saying you're hard to play against or you're hard to beat. United are easy to play against and they're easy to beat. To me, that's the biggest insult on this United group at the moment. And I'm just talking about getting Man United competing week in, week out, wherever that might take them. This group of players have shown this year with the amount of games they've lost, and last year, I'm talking about league, they're not up to it. That's not going to change overnight. Whatever with the manager and the systems and having more time to work with the players, they need certain players to come in who know the league, and again, who are men, I played with men, lads who knew the league. So you could have good young players, of course, but you need to look at lads, particularly the spine of your team, and going, they'll turn up every week. They might win every week, but they'll turn up and they'll be hard to beat. And United have to start competing. It's just...
He inferred, Jamie, as well, when he was talking to the fans, that he told everyone this storm was coming. He expected this because he almost could foresee the short-term pain this club needed to go through to make progress. Might they actually look back at this as the turning point in the Manchester United recent story? They have fewer games next season. There's obviously going to be an overhaul of the playing staff as well.
The problem is there's been a lot of turning points. You're always looking for something, but
perhaps previously they were looking for a short-term fix.
Yeah, short-term fix.
Now they're not.
I do totally get that.
They've said, we'll take the pain.
And you've got to be aligned. I think that's the most important thing. They've got, Jason Wilcox, they've got a new CEO as well. Jason is undoubtedly knows the game. He understands what the success at Manchester City and what it takes, but it's going to take time. You can't look at that squad. I think what it tells you everything when you look and go through that squad and think to yourself, how many of them would you not sell this summer? I think apart from Lenny Yoro, and it's purely because he hasn't been there that long and he's a young player, I think every single United player will be up for sale.
You'd sell Bruno?
I would right now, yeah, I would, and I'm a big fan. I know I think he's a game changer, but I think if the right money came about, and you could then invest into the squad, and I think he is a good player. I think he's a top footballer. He was poor in midweek, but he has been their leading light this year. But if the right money were to come available, and you could improve your squad, I would certainly take the right money.
I'm intrigued when I hear a manager say we're going to have less games, as if that guarantees success. Part of playing for a big club is more games.
Well, he hasn't said that. They were my words.
Right, okay, but I've heard that from other managers before, and he said it before himself. I've got a free week with the players I can work on, and then they don't back it up with a result, as if having a free week is always good for a football club. You want to be busy. You want to be playing football matches. That's where you learn. That's where you get your experiences. As if he's going to produce a magic wand to turn some of these players into top players because he's got a free week. That's bizarre in itself.
I wonder. I think we'll both agree on that, Roy. They cannot get any lower than this, surely. This is the it feels like something has to happen next season.
Mid-table next year.
But if you look at what Forest have done this year, I mean, surely with United's squad, and if they invest right and bring in some good players and get the recruitment right.
The way you look at it, if you look at this United group of players, they still should be doing, as bad as they are, they still should be doing better.
Absolutely.
There's more in that squad to certainly get higher up the table.
Let's have a...
for anything in this game in particular. Obviously, playing for giving a different message and a different image of what we've been doing during this campaign. I think we did very well. Still, we created a lot of chances. Could and should have scored in the first half, but we didn't. In the second half, we got our 2 goals, and that's amazing for the way we finished the season. But more important is the way we're going to start the next one.
Is that the difference between today's game and maybe some of the others? Is a lack of fear of losing, a lack of fear of consequences?
Yes. When you play with a little bit more freedom, obviously most of the things coming through, movement-wise, you want more the ball. Everyone is showing for the ball. Movement. You try different things. You try more. Like I saw a lot of players trying their chances today to get a shot. And probably in past few games they will try to go for the easy way, pass backwards or whatever. And we were on the front foot. We were trying. Even on the pressing-wise, we were sometimes on a man marking against a team that has very powerful players to hold the ball and then run off, and we did very well. But obviously, as I said, we need and we want to do this more often. We know it's difficult. We know this club demands a lot. There's a lot of pressure, but whoever wants to play for this club has to deal with that demands, and he has to understand that our aim is to play under pressure every game.
You know, I like to tell you nice things about how the fans feel about you. I'm not going to try not to make you cry this time, but look, every time things get hard, every time things are difficult, it's you. You stand up, you put your hand up and you go, I'm going to be the leader, I'm going to be responsible. How has that been for you this season?
No, it's just the way I deal with things, you know. I want to help as much as I can. I'm living my dream, so I'm just a very lucky guy that is living his dream in one of the best clubs in the world, in the best league in the world. So what more can I ask? I just have to give it all for myself, for my teammates, for my fans, for everyone that's been through every moment with me, and that's all.
And we get to live it with you, and that's brilliant.
I hope it's going to be brilliant moments. Other a little bit more frustrated, but I try my best to give more brilliant moments than frustrating ones.
Bruno, thank you for everything as always.
Thank you very much.
End of season address, you apologised to the fans as you said you would yesterday. You also said we have to stick together. Clearly before the game there were protests. Is that what you mean, or what do you mean by?
No, it's everything. It's hard to point one thing. Is in difficult moments sometimes we blame each other as a club, as a family. It's normal, but we need to stick together and we will be okay. That's all.
Pete. Hi Ruben. After this season, you acknowledge that there were so many lowers. What have you seen to give you hope that there is, to say that there are better times?
That we have to see next season. I think we are we are improving as a team. Sometimes the results don't show that, but we are improving. Again, in the final, I think it was not a great game. But if you ask anyone who's the better team in that game, was us. That is clear. Today we did a good game against a team that with 1 point could be in Champions League. So I think we are improving, and then we are changing so many things in Carrington. There are so many things important in this club that the results don't show. You cannot see it, but they will be really important in the future.
Simon.
Congratulations on today. When you've talked about the need for change a lot since you've come in, and areas of weakness and things like that. 3 years ago, Roy Keane said the club needed open heart surgery. Do you still think it's as drastic as that, or is it just, I don't know?
No, I think we did a lot of changes as a club in this maybe 6 months, and we changed maybe so many things that a normal club could do it in 3 years. A lot of people leaving, and in the day by day, the way we behave, who is in charge in Carrington, who decides things. I think we are changing that. That is really important. If you look at in the past, I think that was a characteristic of this club. That the culture was, the standards were really high.
Does the squad need changing a lot?
It's hard to talk about that because we have the fair play rules and we are limited, especially this year. So we need to be patient. Of course, are going to have changes. You saw 3 players today are leaving, and they are characters that we need that kind of characters here. But then we have to see the characteristics of the player to try to play in the different way. So we are doing that, but we have to be patient because we have the limitation of fair play rules.
James.
Ruben mentioned those 3 that are leaving. Garnacho was not in the squad as well today, and there's indications that you told him that he could find a new club this summer. Can you clarify what the situation is with and also just explaining Arna's
Onana was just for Altai to have this experience, and sometimes the goalkeepers nowadays they need space to play, also to feel important, because we need 2-3 goalkeepers ready to play when you especially when you have a lot of competition. And then Garnacho is a Manchester United player that is not in the squad today, but is a normal player in our club, and I have no news that will change today.
Steve.
Ruben, so is Garnacho possibly play his last game for the club? I know you're saying you could go play the post-season friendlies. Would you have him at the club for next season?
Sorry,
Garnacho, would you have him at the club for next season?
Garnacho is one more player of Manchester United, so I don't know what is going to happen in the future, but he's a normal player.
Yeah.
Ruben, are you ready for a break, or are you looking forward to start tomorrow, all these changes that you have to apply and all these decisions?
No, I'm really excited to finish the season. I'm going to be really honest with you guys. I'm really excited to start again. So we cannot lose any time. We need to prepare the pre-season. We will have this pre-season. If you look in the next years, we will have World Cup. So we will not have time to take advantage of that. We have to make some changes in our squad, and we have a lot to do. So I'm really excited in this moment.
Last question, Dave.
You just said that you're looking forward to the break. Obviously, you've got the post-season tour now, but can you understand why, when next season starts, you'll be under huge pressure from the word go because of this season, how disastrous, as you said, this season's been? Can you accept and understand that pressure will be on you and the players from the very first game?
Yeah, that is normal. That is a risk when I start 6 months ago, and if you start now, we can have a pre-season, prepare the future, and then that season will be the first season. People will look at me as not just the first season. I have to deliver next year. I think we are going. I'm really confident that we are going to play better, to have more results, but it's going to take time. So we know that we will have to suffer again, but of course we have to. We need to have better results. That's for sure.
Thank you.